Questions for Coach Carter?
Let's take a look.
Well, Coach, any news?
Not yet. Not yet. I was anticipating some, but not yet.
Do you think you'll still get it maybe before the games? Or?
No, probably not. It's a short week. I forgot about the holidays.
Wanted to ask you a little bit about Ronnie and Ali. The other night it seemed like they both gave you spurts of solid play. How do you maximize that? Do you see them doing that more consistently moving forward?
I'm anticipating it. I thought to start the game we got to get a faster or better start from Ali Fall when you start a game. I think they've been playing in spurts, and it's got to become more consistent throughout the game. But they're getting better every game. I think they're improving that area, but it's got to be from the start. We've been getting it, midway through the first half or the second half, and it's got to be right now.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask, I guess, is there anything you can do to try to accelerate that learning curve?
I think it's just experience. Playing every game. Every game is always different. I talked to him about not anticipating the game being the same. So if you had success last game, this game is going to be totally different. So you can't approach it. You can't think about it as being the same type of game. That's how you get better every night. And I think they're kind of approaching every game the same. And personnel's different, style plays different, and so they have to get used to different styles and how they can be successful against different opponents.
Do you see those two on the floor at the same time, or would that be a matchup situation?
Yeah, not right now. I don't think the way we play 4-round with Cole Huff or Jerry able to handle the ball from that position, I don't anticipate playing those two together. Now, we could have had a team that maybe played two bigs and didn't press. That may be a little different. No, I think you kind of got to go forward. If you get good news, you obviously you welcome that. But right now, you have what you have, and I'm pretty close about rotation, what guys can give us, and that's been the biggest thing is what guys can give us every night. What can we expect? What we can expect from Deontay. What can we expect from Jerry, Mike, Marquise, Cole, Ollie Fall every night? And we're getting close to knowing that. And the rotation is really, I think, in my mind, we have a good rotation, sort of seeing the same pattern now.
And what do you know about your opponents? Obviously, a couple of tough teams coming up.
UCLA, a very good team. Obviously, they're rated in the top 25. They score the ball very well. They have great size. Transition is going to be huge. They're scoring a lot of points. They shoot the ball well. So we got to get back in transition and rebound, limiting them to one shot.
And do you learn anything from being able to play Morehead State since they had already played them as well?
A little bit. Their style play is so different. Morehead and even Tennessee Chattanooga in terms of pressing and the way they play, it's just different. We have more length at the guard spot, so I think we better match up a little better. So only thing I take away from there is UCLA is in transition. I think they hurt both teams in both games I watch.
Are they doing a lot of what Alfred did in New Mexico, or did he change the system quite a bit?
I think he's probably done a little bit of what he's done in New Mexico at the same time with his personnel. He's probably let them play kind of what Colorado State did last year. Sometimes you just can't go in and change everything right away because of your personnel. So he's not doing it. The style play is a little different in New Mexico. They're more free. It's more. He has more depth at the guards. Last year in New Mexico, I think his front line is really good. So it's probably a combination of his personnel and what he thinks his strengths are right now.
Does it help that you played in Alfred twice last season?
Defensively, yes. I think defensively they're doing the same thing. Ball screens, they're pushing down. They're not really extending their defense. They're playing a little bit of 2-3 zone. So defensively, I'm more familiar with them, but offensively it's a little different.
With those two big guys kind of in limbo, would you just like to get a resolution and move on in your mind? Or?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing for the team, really. So you kind of move on, and whatever's going to happen, whether it's positive or negative, we got to move forward. So that's what we're hoping for. Just get a conclusion and kind of go on.
Is that point coming pretty soon?
I hope so.
Be a definitive answer one way or the other?
I think so. Yeah.
Coach, after a bad shooting game, was there anything you trying to do different in practice or for the game plan for the next one?
No, you obviously go in and shooting drills, and guys got to make shots. We look at tape. You had a lot of good open looks, and guys got to make open shots. There's nothing that you can do in practice really, especially when it comes to free throw shooting and shooting jump shots.
Is there a big difference between Mountain West play and Pac-12?
Well, we play Pac-12 in the non-conference, so it's a little different. When you get to Mountain West, everyone knows each other. You have 13, 14 games that they can watch tape, so they're more prepared for you. Pac-12, because you play them non-conference, you're not as familiar with them. So it's a little different, I think, in preparation when you play a Pac-12 school in the preseason versus a Mountain West school in the conference. Looked at Missouri just a little bit. I haven't. My assistant coach who does the scout, Coach Brown, has been looking at tape. I haven't seen them yet. I'll just go wait and try to get one game at a time.
What are the distractions you have to around Thanksgiving during the holiday?
I'm sorry, say again?
What are the distractions you have to worry about Thanksgiving?
Families. We're in going to Vegas, and a lot of kids are from Southern California. Mike Perez's family is from Arizona. Lucas' family from Arizona. So, the distraction is going to be probably family. Just to keep those guys focused. It will be a hard time. That's the biggest thing because we're so close. If we were in Alaska, I think we'd be all right.
Is it tough to play on Thanksgiving, or do you like being on that spotlight?
First time. Normally we play after Thanksgiving. So it'll be a little different. Dinner will just be a little later. Ollie's strength is scoring inside. I think we have to give him a little bit more touches. He's able to finish inside. Ronnie's strength is more defensively. He's a really good defender in terms of reading the defense's help side, rebounding. So they both give you a little bit of different. I think Ollie is more offensively, and Ronnie Stevens is more defensive. So when I sub him in now, it all depends on you need to stop. Ronnie has more of a presence defensively than Ollie does, but Ollie has more presence offensively than Ronnie.
Any more questions for Coach?
Okay, thanks.
Everybody's chatty today. Hope everybody's doing well. It's good to see you. Headed into the last game. Our health-wise, we're actually in pretty good shape. I would call Macaulay questionable right now. He's trying his best to try and get back. But other than that, Horton is done for the year. He had he caught a thigh bruise a couple of weeks ago, and there was a complication, and for his long-term health is fine, but we've had to immobilize his leg, so he's not available. Aaron Bradley will be available for the game. Cody's foot's doing well. Hecking is being held together with duct tape and baling wire right now, but he'll go. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. So Horton's out for the game and Macaulay's questionable. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape. And the O-line I don't feel like at least the interior three, it feels like has not been intact very much this year, and so we've had to battle. So Fred will play significantly, and Gallus is healthy enough, and Talbot. So that's the way we'll have to go. Headed into the ball game, had a chance to start studying BYU last week, and then have continued Sunday and Monday. They are a very good football team. You look at their schedule. They've played, they're an independent now, and you look at their schedule, and it's pretty impressive when you're talking about people like Virginia, Texas, Utah, Utah State, who obviously is a very good team in our league, Georgia Tech, Houston, Boise, Wisconsin, Notre Dame. They've played a real schedule and have won some pretty good games. I think they're very well coached. They play very hard. They are big across the board, very big on the offensive line, big on defense, and they're skill people. You're not going to see a 5'9", 5'10" guy out there anywhere on the field like you would in the Mountain West. They're gonna. You might see a couple of 5'10" DBs, but this is a big football team. I saw a stat today reading their game notes. I believe it was 70 or 72 of the players on their team have gone on missions. So whether that mission's a year or 2 years, a guy who may be listed as a junior might be 21, 22. A senior might be 23 years old. This is an older football team. That's one of the interesting things when you play these guys. I remember at Notre Dame, BYU came in to play us, and when they came out, when their offensive line came out in pregame, I thought, my God, these are grown men. Literally men. That's part of the unique challenge when you play them. Offensively, they want to play really fast. They're snapping the ball about every 20 seconds right now. In terms of total plays per game, I believe they're third or fourth in the country. This could end up being a 85 to 95 play game for our defense, which means we're going to have to do a great job of, rolling people in and out. They're great at running the football. Top 15 in rushing. They're in the top 15 in rushing and total offense. I think they're really creative in the run game. They find a lot of different ways to do it. They're effective in the passing game, and I think they've become more and more effective throughout the years. The quarterback has gotten better and gotten more comfortable as a thrower. Personnel-wise on offense, Taysom Hill, the quarterback, who's 6'2", 221-pound sophomore, he's a great runner for a quarterback. And he has improved steadily throughout the year as a passer. He's going to be the first player in the history of BYU to run for 1,000 and pass for 2,000. He's an exciting player, and he kind of makes it go. The tailback 21, Jamal Williams, is a very good player, and he's a good size back at 6 foot, 200. And then the receiver Cody Hoffman, who's set a bunch of records, tall guy, 6'4", 210, senior, has played a ton of football for them. And as you look at their offensive line, 6'8", 292, 6'2", 315, 6 foot, 317, 6'4", 295, 6'7", 330. And as you compare that to our defensive line, there's a weight there's a weight difference there. So it's going to be important to us that we play with pad level, that we stay in our gaps, and frankly, we're going to have to roll people through in the defensive front four to make sure that we're not getting worn down. So that's going to be a challenge for us. BYU defensively, they're a 3-4 base. They're odd front, very aggressive, multiple again, which the odd front lends itself to. Again, size across the board, and I think they play with power on the line of scrimmage. You see, in the first 2.5 to 3 steps, you see people block them, and then they're able to power off blocks and knock people backwards. And I thought they did a really nice job last week at Notre Dame. I think they run pretty well on defense. They've caused 21 turnovers so far this year. Coach Mendenhall's a defensive coach. He's got them playing in his image. They're going to present a challenge. Obviously, everybody talks about Van Noy, and he is a skilled player. He reminds me a lot of Barr. Got natural pass rush ability, long-levered, athletic enough that he may come underneath a block when he's not supposed to, but he can go make the play. I saw a play the other day where Utah State tries to throw a 3-step out, and he just leaps up, picks it off, and runs it back. I mean, he can make special plays as an athlete. I really like the nose tackle, Manu Maleuna. I think I got that right. He's a powerful dude, 6'2", 305. We're going to have our work cut out for us in the interior of our offensive line. Unga, the middle linebackers, are really good players, really productive. And then I think in the back end, Daniel Sorensen, the safety number 9, is a really good player. So obviously we've got our work cut out for us. This is a great challenge. They're a good football team. One of the things, people are going to ask about senior week. We cannot get overly emotional about that, because if we try to go on emotion alone, it'll be a long day for us. We have to execute. We have to prepare as best we can and go out and execute. And we've talked very extensively with the team yesterday about, we can't get reflective yet. We can get reflective on Sunday in terms of celebrating the seniors and what we accomplished this year, where we came up short, what the goals are moving forward. We can't even begin to think about that stuff yet, because we still have a game staring at us in the face on Saturday against a really good opponent. So as far as we're concerned this week, it's been business as usual. We did practice yesterday because we came out of a bye week, so Monday was not the players' day off, and aside from adjusting the schedule because of the Thanksgiving holiday, we are really just business as usual, and trying to do the best job we can to prepare and compete to the best of our ability on Saturday against a really good opponent. And I hope the one thing I will say about the seniors is our fans have been great this year. Look back to San Jose, a night game, and worried about the cold weather, and I thought we had a really good turnout. And I hope that despite the fact that it's a holiday weekend, with a noon start and with what is supposed to be really beautiful weather, certainly compared to what people have been dealing with in the Midwest and back east, I hope that we'll get a good turnout, and I hope we'll have people at the Wolfpack Walk and get one chance to say goodbye and thank you to people like Wimberly and Bitonio and guys who have meant so much to this program long before I ever arrived. So That's the only thing I'll say, reflecting back. But other than that, we're excited to go play one more time this year, and excited to get back to practice.
So the only guy you didn't mention, I assume he's okay then, is Dobrich?
Dobrich practiced yesterday and will go contact today, and we have no reason to believe that he'll have any limitations, barring a setback, which nobody's anticipating.
You've had most of your injuries, I think, at the tight end position this year. Obviously, Arenzi half the season. Jeffers was gone for a while. Horton now.
Mm-hmm.
How much has that really handcuffed what you could do offensively?
It has, because in my opinion, the tight end is so important in this offense. There was concern when you lost such production as Sudfeld, and then I thought Arenzi really started to play well weeks 3, 4, 5, and then he goes down, and it has it. I don't want it to sound like an excuse, but it's had to be, it's something that we've had to be aware of, and probably, I believe Sud had like 60 or so catches last year. Now you're seeing Hassan in his production, and Wimberly has been productive and would have been productive no matter what, but I think you're starting to see those 60 balls that went to Sud last year, all of a sudden you're starting to see go out to the wide receivers now, because you don't have that big 6'7" security blanket that he had last year. And then as he's feeling really comfortable with Colby, we lose Colby. That being said, Gipp has done an admirable job, and I think Patrick Clifford has gotten better every week. I think we feel good about the future of the position, but there's no doubt when you lose a fifth-year senior and put out a redshirt freshman and a true freshman, there's going to be a little bit of a difference.
What was your depth at the start of the season? Arenzi was 1, Jeffers 2?
Arenzi was 1, Jeffers 2, and then it was between Gipp and Horton for the third. And, at the beginning of the year, you're like, boy, we got a lot of faces at that position. It didn't take very long that it was they were all kind of disappeared. But everybody's got the same problems. We all go through it. I mean, I have a buddy that coaches at Florida. I mean, as bad as things have been around here, I'm glad I'm not in Gainesville this week. I mean, you lose 7 or 8 starters to season-ending injuries, and everybody across the country is going through it. It's not an excuse. You got to find a way. So.
How important is it to just play well this last game and kind of jumpstart the offseason here, but you feel positive about it?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question, and I think it's something that that's important. In my mind, it's important that we go out and compete our tails off. And whatever happens, happens. This is a really good football team. But it is important to me that we go out and compete our tails off and try and play the best game that we can play. And I think one of the good things coming out of San Jose State was we played well in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and in the kicking game. And, we need to try and build off of that and play as good as we can play. This is a matchup concern, quite honestly. We're not, we haven't been great stopping a run, and this team's going to try and run it to win. So it's not going to be this is not going to be about deception. We know that for sure. I mean, they're gonna come at us downhill, and we got to bow our necks and go fight.
Have you seen, I guess, kind of a stability factor with Taysom Hill? I think in the last 2-3 years at the quarterback position, anyway, he's kind of been up and down. Has Hill stabilized that position for him?
Yeah, I do believe he has, and I think it's been impressive to watch his progression as a passer throughout the year. They're doing a really good job of coaching him. He's getting better, and I also think you look at BYU now compared to where they were maybe 5-8 years ago, when they were the only ones in the country throwing it all over the yard. Everybody else was playing with a fullback and a tight end trying to run power. And now here we are. I mean, let's just look at the last decade. Here we are 10 years later. everybody in America is trying to chuck it all over the yard, and now BYU's getting into sets with 3 guys in the backfield and 13th in the country in rushing, and that just speaks to the quality of Bronco and their staff and their willingness to adjust to what their personnel dictates. And Taysom Hill is a dynamic rusher, and a lot of his stuff is not designed. I mean, the read option and the option and the quarterback powers are designed, but you'd be surprised at how many rushing yards this guy gets when they just take a 5-step drop. He doesn't like what he sees and takes off running, and he makes a lot of people miss. So it's a compliment to their staff and how they've evolved with the people that they've had. And clearly, as a sophomore, he's going to be around a couple more years. He's been a stabilizing force for them at that position.
Coach, can you talk about how Brandon Wimberly has kind of stabilized the team this season? What kind of his loss is going to mean, and also Joel Bitonio's as well.
I think with Wim, it's hard production to replace now. I mean, he's at 87 catches, I believe, right now. I believe he needs 68 more yards to have 3,000 for his career. He's caught a ball, I believe, in every game he's played. Is that correct? Yeah, 51. I mean, his production's been incredible. He has not been a vocal leader this year because that's not who he is. Plus, people forget, in his 6th year, how many of these guys on this team has he actually come up with? And we're a very young team right now. I mean, we only have 15 or 16 seniors. And those are guys that, if they're in their 4th year, he was in his 2nd year when they arrived. So the way he has led is through example. The way he practices is really outstanding. I've said it multiple times, but it's worth repeating. He practices and prepares like a professional. I mean, when you see him in the team room on his own, watching film and taking notes, and then you watch the way he practices and the way he competes, he leads by example. And now Joel, I think Joel has been fantastic, and we asked Joel to take a more active role in terms of leadership and to be more vocal, because that's not his personality. He's a laid-back guy. Unfortunately for us, a lot of our best players kind of have those laid-back personalities where you'd like them to maybe be a little bit more type A, take charge, but it is what it is. And we asked Joel to kind of come out of his shell a little bit, and he's done that. The other thing Joel has done is never take a rep off of practice. He's never asked out of a practice, and he's played at a high level the entire year against every level of competition, UCLA and Florida State all the way through the Mountain West. So we're going to miss them both a great deal. The previous staff did an unbelievable job of getting guys like that here and developing them, and we've been blessed to be with them for a year. Easy enough? All right.
Well, I got one more if I can get this thing to work. Sorry, real quick. The Thanksgiving story I'm doing. Do you kind of see yourself as maybe kind of an Uncle Brian to a lot of these kids of the coaches that are on your side?
Oh, I'm the ornery uncle. The family's really important to me. The way I was brought up, it's really important to my wife and I. And to me, I think it's one of the staples of our program is that when we ask a parent to entrust us with their child, that those parents understand that it's not that child's not just a pawn on a chessboard, just a piece to the puzzle. And the family atmosphere is a big part of that. And you would be surprised at how much of a difference it makes when the environment has children in it and children are welcome and the wives are around. And if a player knows, it doesn't happen to a veteran very often, but a freshman may get homesick and, hey, coach, I'm having a rough week, and the ability to go scoop up that kid or say, hey, come out to the house for a home-cooked meal and be able to put your feet up. I mean, to me, that's the fundamental difference between college football and professional football, is that we are still aiding in the development of these young people that we recruit and bring to be a part of our program. And one of the things that we believe in and sell is family. And, I love the fact that there are kids running around our offices. We hire babysitters on game day so that the moms don't have to go out and figure out childcare. And we have a lot of kids that they're too little to sit through a whole game. So while the game's going on, we have 3 or 4 young ladies babysitting for us in Cashel with, cars up on the big screen in the team meeting room, and I love that atmosphere. And it wasn't by design. I mean, we hired the best people that we could hire, and the fact that we have some younger coaches that have some younger families, it just happened that way. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and when the families are together. We had a little deal at our house to start off the season, and that was complete mayhem. I mean, and you got people like Billy Tierlink and Nick Rolovich who stir trouble. They don't slow it down. They accelerate it. And that kind of atmosphere is fun, and it's part of what makes our job at the college level, at least, a little bit different. And it wasn't like that every place I worked, but it was like that at a lot of the places. I mean, Jim Harbaugh had his daughter around the office all the time when she was just a toddler. She was Aiden's age. They kind of were about the same age. My son, I'm not the only coach that keeps a train set in a drawer in his office, and it just in our business, you don't get to this time of year. You don't get to see him awake very often. So we've made it very clear to the coaches that the families are welcome. And we do a deal, too, on Monday nights where one of the wives will cook for the coaching staff on Monday nights, and it just kind of rotates. And it's a lot of fun because, they'll bring their children in and sit and eat with us, and it's just sometimes you need a little 15, 20-minute respite from the grind and to enjoy having the kids around. And so the family part of it's a big component. Oh, it'd be impossible. It'd be impossible. I mean, the only reason we were able to pull it off in the summer is because we're handing out hot dogs and sending the kids out to the backyard. But, it would be impossible. And it would be, you'd have an incredible headache when it was all said and done. I'm still finding Play-Doh and potato chips under couch cushions from the deal in the summertime. So I don't know if Laura would. I think we're more likely to go to the water park with the whole crew next year as opposed to, Laura allowing everybody back into the house at one time. So.
Finally, real quick, who has the tougher job, you or Laura?
Oh, I make no bones about it. I mean, while you guys take your shots at me, Laura's got to deal with, she's got to deal with a 4-year-old and a toddler. My daughter had to have a stitch put in. Sunday night, I got a call that Laura was on her way to the emergency room, that she had taken a header, and I'm about to walk into a team meeting, and is it a big deal? Well, she needs a stitch. Well, it's not a big enough deal for me to leave the team meeting, so good luck to you, and I'll call you when it's done. And I went and scooped up Aiden. She was there till 10:30. It's harder for her. The criticism that we face in this job, it comes with it. I mean, we understand that, and to a certain degree we can ignore it. But Laura, she takes it. The wives. I mean, I saw this with my mom growing up. They take it personally. So now she's got to be strong through all that stuff, and then any coach's wife who has to raise a family during the season, it's hard. Or have me say, hey, dream came true. We got our first head job in Reno. Good luck here in College Station for the next 2 months. I'll see you in March. And off I am in a hotel room and, or in a condo, and I'm recruiting and doing all these things. I've left my wife to go pack up the house in Texas and make the move. I mean, for us, if I have a Diet Coke, a working projector, and an office, life is good. For Laura, she's got to handle everything else. So they have the coaches' wives have the much harder gig. So it takes special people. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So I'm done flattering her. It's time to get ready for a game. Damn it. So.
Questions for Jack?
Jack, the final game, has it hit you yet?
No, it honestly hasn't. I just have been looking at this week like another work week, and I'm not sure it will hit me until I start walking down on that field with my family at my side.
Your favorite memory of your entire time in Nevada?
It's hard to narrow it down to just one, but my first 2 career sacks against UNLV was a big one. Even though I didn't play a whole lot my freshman year when we beat Boise, just being able to be around that atmosphere, that was pretty cool too.
Jack, what do you guys have to do to try to stop or contain Taysom Hill in that offense?
Really, we just have to do our 111th. Like, everybody do what they're supposed to do, nothing more, nothing less. We need to play gap-sound football and just not let him escape anywhere.
Does your own offense give you some kind of training for what you're going to see?
Yeah, absolutely. With a guy like Cody back there, he can take off and run any second. That makes us in practice beware of our rush lanes and all that, so we don't get out of our gap and create a running lane for him.
And what does Hill do well, their quarterback?
Just if he steps back and he doesn't see anything that he likes, first of all, he's a really good passer, but if he doesn't see anything that he likes, he can take off and run. And what we've been saying is that he is their best wide receiver because he could just take off and run and get a gain of 30 like nothing.
Jack, what kind of legacy, obviously you guys still have 1 game left to play, but what kind of legacy do you want to have on the younger players that, how they want to remember Jack Reynoso?
I like to think of myself as a pretty tough guy. So just like an overall toughness, like going out and practicing hard, no matter what the situation is, hot or cold, rain, sleet, or snow, like just being overall tough.
With Thanksgiving here, just what are you thankful for?
Thankful for the past 5.5 years that I've had here, and of course, always family.
Are they going to obviously come up here?
Yeah, they're going to be at the game. We celebrated Thanksgiving this last Saturday, so because my mom and my sister can't be up here for the actual Thanksgiving.
Anything else? Thanks, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Joel, has it hit you yet? This is your last game for Nevada.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a little bit. Everything's the last now. Yesterday was our last Monday practice. Today's our last Tuesday practice. So it's kind of come down to the wire, and it's bittersweet both ways. You're excited to move to the next step in your life, but it's also the last 5 years of your life coming to an end, and it's emotional for sure.
And in all your time here, what's your favorite memory or favorite memory?
Oh, there's a lot, man. Just being with the guys all the time. They're your family now. We're going to be in each other's weddings and stuff like that, and they're just good people. Probably the best memory. But on the field, I remember when I was a redshirt freshman, and our tackle went down against La Tech, and we had to win the game for the WAC championship. And I played the last 3 quarters, and I was like, man, I could play here. It kind of hit me, and I was excited we won the championship, and then we ended up winning the Craft Bowl, and that year was pretty fun for me.
Joel, what do you think about Van Noy, obviously a local product here, and getting some national pub as one of the top defensive players in the country?
Oh, yeah, he's a great player. If you watch him on film, you just tell he's an athletic dude. He runs around well. He a smart football player. He has a knack for making big plays, and he seems to do that on a regular basis when their team needs it the most, and it'll be good for us to, get a chance to go against him.
How tough is BYU overall? They've lost 4 games, but they've played such a tough schedule. They might be better than their record indicates. How tough a team are they to face?
Oh, they're good. I'm sure Coach Polian went over with you guys, but they have great size, pretty much everywhere on the field. They're fast guys. They're disciplined. They're a mature team, and they and they play well pretty much every week. You know, they've had a couple games, you know, where they've gotten beat, but they've gotten beat by good teams, like you said, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. You know, hopefully, you know, we'll be able to compete and come away with a win to, you know, send the seniors off right.
How much has the loss or the situation at tight end really affected you guys this year? Your top 3 tight ends at the start of the season have all missed time.
Oh yeah, tight end's one of the more important positions, you know, in the pistol offense. They're moving around a lot and stuff like that, and you know, losing Colby was a good football player. You know, I think he's all conference caliber guy, and he was playing well his whole, you know, his time here, and then not having Jeffers for the first 6 weeks is tough too. Those are 2 guys with great experience, starting experience, and at a position where you need it in this offense, you know. And Gipp came in, and he's been playing well, you know, but he's a young guy, so there's learning pains there. But it's just tough. When you lose anybody on offense, it's hard, but especially at the tight end position in this team.
And you had, I mean, Colby obviously was kind of the pass-catching tight end, and Stephen was the blocking tight end.
Yeah.
How much, you know, did that kind of, you know, make it worse that you lost both of those guys?
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you lose you lose somebody, it sucks. But then you lose the 1-2 at the position, you know, at an experienced position that you think it's going to be a strength for your team. It's tough. You know, we couldn't just throw Jeffers in there to get the run game going, and we couldn't have Colby in there for the pass game, and it just kind of slowed our offense down for a few weeks there. But you know, Gipp's doing a real good job now, and Patrick's coming in, and Jeffers is back, so we've got a good core of tight ends coming back now.
Having experienced this transitional phase of like just new coaches coming in, new playing, where do you see this program going in the future?
I think there's a bright future for Nevada. You know, Coach Polian has done a really good job. It's been a transition phase, and anytime you bring in a new coach, it's going to be tough. You could have the most talent in the world, you could have no talent. It's going to be tough regardless, especially when you have, you know, a program that's been with the same coach for so long, you know, and to change it up like that, it's tough. And we've had a lot of injuries this year, and we've battled through some stuff, but I think they have a really bright future. I think he's planning for the future. You know, he has great recruiting ties. He's bringing in guys. He's, you know, a pretty young team this year, honestly. There's, you know, not that many seniors, and I think they'll be all right. I think they're going to ready to work this offseason, and they'll surprise some people next year.
Joel, how important was it for you to get a degree? I mean, obviously you're going to graduate with an economics degree. How important was it for you to get a degree, even though you have NFL aspirations?
It was the most important thing. You know, my mom, I mean, I knew I was going to get a degree before I left here, no matter what. You know, and you always have to have a backup plan. You never know. The NFL is not for long, you know, so you can't, you know, you hope that happens and stuff, but you can't bank on it. You know, there's too much stuff in life that happens, and it's good to have an education, and you know, I'm very happy that I'm going to graduate this next weekend.
Anything else? Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joel.
Well, maybe after the game, right?
Oh, yeah. Brandon, has it hit you yet, some of your memories with that on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited that it's winding down. I mean, I've been here long enough. I feel like I should start getting paid to coach here, but no, you know, it's going to be an emotional game on Saturday with my family being here and all my friends, and this actually being my last time possible playing at Mackey. Now, let's say have a bowl game here for me and the seniors playing, but yeah, it's going to be our last time practicing here, which is the Friday, and you know, we're just going to try to, you know, go out there and win this game on Saturday.
Your favorite memory the entire time you've been here?
My favorite memory the entire time I've been here, probably beating Boise here, my sophomore year. It was probably the best team victory we've ever had, not only in Mackey, but since I've been here in the last 6 years. So I would say that's probably one of my greatest moments here.
Brandon, you got pro aspirations, I know, but what else might lie ahead for you?
Coaching. I done built enough bonds throughout playing here with all the other coaches that have left, and I talk to them regularly, and a lot of them are coaching now and have coordinator positions and stuff, and might want to hire me as to be a receivers coach, or I know that you have to start off as a GA at some positions in some places, and that's something that I'm willing to do, and learn more, and also teach younger guys how I got through and how I succeeded, and help them with that. And also I think I can be a valuable asset as being a recruiter, because I feel like I have a niche for talent. I can see talent, and a lot of these coaches that didn't play ball, they just tend to look at the numbers, and you have to look deeper into that, and I feel like I can help there.
Have you leaned on Ashley at all with that, with his background, and he kind of went the same route?
See, when I talk to Ashley, it's just more about me succeeding on the field. I haven't talked to him about anything outside of that, because I still have to focus on playing a game on Saturday. After Saturday, then I might look to him for some advice on what to do and what not to do. But as far as now, we just talk about football and how I can be a better football player.
Think there's a chance you could be coaching GA here next year?
Hopefully I'll be being paid to play somewhere. But I'm gonna probably take a year off and actually let my body get back to where it was 5-6 years ago. But I have high hopes on playing in the NFL, and if that doesn't happen, I'll start applying for jobs.
Having been through so many senior days, that'll help you in keeping your emotions in check for Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be emotional, but that doesn't mean I'm going to break down and cry or anything. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it can be a happy feeling. It doesn't have to always be sad and, saying that it's coming to an end, because potentially I could play at the next level. I mean, I believe that I can, and there's a lot of other guys that, think so also. So, that's what I'm more focused on, is being successful on Saturday, getting this W, and then going on from there.
You went through senior day last year. I mean, you didn't know for sure that would be not your last game. Was there emotions last year, or you kind of know for sure you'd be back this year?
Yeah, I kind of knew. A lot of people thought I wouldn't. Like, some of the trainers, what happened in 2011, it wasn't football related, so that might be a problem. And I'm like, man, there's guys that played halfway through the season to get their 6 years back, and I felt that it was like, it was going to happen regardless. But a lot of people were telling me, like, nah, it might not happen, and I didn't even make any moves or decisions to enter the draft, or start training or go to the next level or anything like that, because I was 100% sure that I was going to get my 6th year. I had all fighting for me. I had some coaches that was fighting for me, rooting me on, and that might be one of the reasons that I got back.
Can you talk a little bit about how the tight end situation this year has really kind of handcuffed you guys with the injuries you've had there?
Yeah, I feel like it handcuffed us tremendously. With Kobe going down, then Jeffers going down, and we having to make some redshirt freshman play and even a true freshman play. It's hard to get the pistol down in the air, and that's why Jeffers didn't play his first year. That's why Kobe didn't play his first year here, and now we have these redshirt freshmen. Gibson, which played a little bit of slot last year, when he redshirted, and then Patrick, he was out for about a week or two with the concussion in camp. It's hard to grasp the concept of the pistol, in 2 months, 3 months. It takes guys years to do that. I mean, I've seen Verge develop, his game plan and blocking and catching the ball out of it. And it's a hard position to play here, because you got to block. You have to. It's just as much as lineman. You with his own read, and you really don't know where the football is going. You have to, actually, go head up with these guys and square them up, and give the runner a two-way go. So it's a hard position to play, and I take my hat off to Gibson and Patrick for stepping up to the plate when Jeffers and Kobe went down. But I feel like we would have been a lot more successful if we had Kobe and Jeffers healthy. But we can't rewind the hands of time and make that happen. But I felt like by them going down, it was a big impact on the season.
Brandon, what stands out with BYU defending so good on the defensive side of the ball?
They're tough. They're fundamentally sound. They know what they're doing. Everybody makes mistakes, and they do also. but the offense has to utilize off their mistakes, and other teams haven't been doing that. I mean, they just came off a rough road loss in Notre Dame, and they lost a couple other games that they probably shouldn't have lost. But looking back at the beginning of the year, they have a dynamic quarterback, and also the defense. Their linebackers are the strength of that defense, and they really roam around well and make tackles. You know, they do what they're supposed to do, and we have to execute and play a good game.
Brandon, you've probably had one of the most unique experiences, not only in Nevada, but also for any college athlete. I mean, how can you kind of sum that into words, you know, with this in your last game at Mackey?
Just being blessed. I know people that would give their right leg to have a 6-year. Probably not to go through what I went through, but just to have another opportunity to play ball and have, you know, another opportunity to make it to the next level and make an impact on the organization that they plan for. But if I can sum it up into words, I would say blessed, lucky. That's about it that comes to mind. It's been a tough road, but, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world, and, you know, made me the person I am today, and just by playing football here, it's been great.
How do you kind of like want people in the community to remember you, kind of just going ahead in the future?
It doesn't matter how they remember me. You know, what matters is how my teammates remember, how my coaches remember me. Somebody told me this not too long ago. I forgot who told me it, but they said they don't love you, they love what you do. So the next player, the next receiver that come and do the same thing that I've done, they'll forget about me. You know, they'll forget about a Colin Kaepernick if, you know, Dante Mays come out here and rip up the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough to say, you know, by us not really going out into the community and doing a lot more stuff than we have in the past. I mean, I do community service, and I get out there and do, you know, do what I can, but, you know, during the season, it's kind of hard to do that, you know, with school, football, study hall, traveling, things like that. So people tend to forget about your face, you know, and, you know, it's different when you play basketball. You go out there with a jersey and no helmet on, people can actually see you. But it's hard to do that, you know, when you're in a helmet.
And with this being your, you know, your last home game, do you have anything special planned? I mean, just as far as
just winning. That's the plan. You know, we're going every week trying to be 1-0, and that's nothing's changed. Nothing special. I know I need 13 catches to make 100 on the year, so I'm gonna try to get that. But besides that, getting a W.
Anything else, Brandon? All right. Stephen, can you just kind of sum up into words what this senior year's been like for you?
Been an adventure, definitely. Didn't start off how I wanted to. You know, as far as being healthy, wins go, but it's just been an adventure.
When you saw Colby go down, what was, you know, and you knew he was done for the year too, what was going through your mind at that point?
Well, actually, you know, I was still hurt. I was at home watching the game on TV and saw him go down, so I wasn't really sure what had happened. And, you know, obviously my heart went out for him. I hoped he'd be okay and be back the next week. And, you know, when we got the news that, you know, he wasn't going to make it back, I really, you know, focused on my treatment, my rehab, so I could get back and help the team in any way that I, you know, thought that I could and try and fill that role as best as I thought I could.
Do you see him maybe, you know, getting a chance to play beyond this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Colby's a, you know, great athlete. He's a great tight end and he's a smart football player, and I know he you know, he wants to pursue it. You know, hopefully his foot will be better for a pro day this spring. I think that's all he's focused on right now is graduating and, you know, getting the degree and, you know, seeing what comes next.
And how much of your attention while you were hurt and then after Colby got hurt went to trying to get the young guys kind of brought up to speed for what's a pretty tough position in this offense?
Definitely increased, but I think I was trying to fill that role from the beginning, you know, still being hurt. We initially switched one of our defensive ends, Tyler Hauk, over to tight end to try and switch with, or trying to, you know, fill my role and So I tried helping him initially. Then, as Gip and Clifford, progressed and developed, I just tried being there for them. And, really all I can do is tell them my experiences and this is what you need to do, learn the offense, and the rest is, on them.
What's going to be going through your mind when they announce your name and you go out on the field?
Probably excitement. I'm anxious for it, looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming, 5 years. So it went a lot faster than I expected, definitely. The culmination of everything coming together here this last week of, 5 years of work is pretty crazy.
Is it icky yet? This is going to be your last game?
No, not really. I'm not really focused on that. It's just, the goal is always the same, 1-0 at the end of the week, and that's all we're really focused on.
Your favorite memory while in Nevada?
Favorite memory? Shoot. There's been a lot. Really, I love the summer workouts, the camaraderie with all the guys, just working hard, getting ready for the season. And I really, I'm going to miss that, definitely, the team aspect, the family aspect. But that's probably my favorite memory, just growing so close to all the guys.
And then, going up against Cobb, I know you played against him in high school. I mean, what was it like playing against him in high school, and what do you expect on Saturday?
Shoot, 5 years. High school was a long time ago. Actually, the last high school game I played against was against his team. That's about all I really remember. I remember playing against him a little bit. But, it's just another game. Obviously, a little bit bigger stage, but he's a good player, and they're strong defense as a whole, and he definitely fits that role in that defense. So I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to going up against another good athlete, and that's pretty much it.
When the season's done, what are your plans for the future?
Right now, I'm gonna train for pro day and try and pursue playing at the next level. I think I can fit a role, at the next level, whatever it may be. Whoever wants me at any position, I'll play, and I think I could definitely contribute in a positive manner.
Did you play on that Pop Warner team with him and I think Connor that went to Orlando?
No, I didn't actually, because I'm from Lake Tahoe, so I grew up there. Didn't actually play football at all till my sophomore year of high school at Minogue. I was always too heavy for Pop Warner.